Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of
We Got Ish to Say, an Everyday Vibe
Podcast. I'm your host Amanda.
And I'm your host Kay.
And we got a panel for y'all. Friends, they're friends, because you know we always love to bring friends on the show. But we have a discussion that was near and dear to our hearts, and we chose some of our finest black men that we could find.
The finest black men we can find.
And we put them on this great panel for y'all just to have a discussion. So, friends, fine black men, can you introduce yourselves? We can start with, I don't even know which way you guys are all set up on the screens. So, Tyrone, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Tyrone, 26, been in LA for about 3.5 years from Mississippi. Went to Mississippi State, graduate with an accounting engineering degree, and just currently just enjoying life, or trying to at least.
I know that's right.
That's right.
Austin.
Hi, people. I'm Austin, 29 years old, Los Angeles born and raised, currently in school to become a clinical psychologist and a dancer in my free time. Really honored that Kay and Amanda allowed me to be on this podcast. So I'm really looking forward to this discussion. But yeah.
Absolutely. And
All right.
Terrell.
Hello, everyone. My name is Terrell Leone. I am actually 42, and I am a musician, and I'm also a direct care professional. I work with people with special needs. Born in San Diego, California, raised in Alabama, and I'm just out here living life, trying to live it as best as I possibly can.
Amen to that. We love that. Thank you, gentlemen, for all being here. We truly chose y'all, not just because you were fine, but because truly, with the topic we have today, we were like, we trust their mindsets, their opinions, and we just wanted to get it out of you a little bit more. We're friends, but like me and Kay, we started this podcast because we don't always have the conversations that we should or that we could amongst friends and whatnot, and just to take things a little bit deeper and to have more of a connection and have the conversation. So that's why we did this. But I'm gonna let Kay tell the audience what we talking about today. What we talking about, Kay?
Friends, today is a roundtable discussion about Black men and mental health. We're going to talk about physical health. We're going to talk about mental health, spiritual health. We're going to talk about it all today because, one, it's June, and this month is dedicated to men and fathers, father figures. And so today we just really want to shed light on Black men and to just really represent who they are in all different facets of life. As you can see, basically everybody on the panel is from somewhere different and they all work in different professions. Like Amanda said, we trust their opinion, we value what they have to say, and we hope you guys do too. We just had a new person into the room.
Right. Hey, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
Hello, everyone. I'm Ray, and I'm not an alcoholic.
Bro.
I enjoy walks on the beach.
Okay. And then Ray, for the meantime, because they all introduced themselves, introduce yourself to the audience outside of what you just gave us, because we're gonna leave that there. It's great.
So I'm Ray. I'm 32. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. I moved to California about 2 years ago. I was in the Marines. I did 4 years and 3 months. I enjoy conversation. I enjoy growing. I expect a lot to be discovered and to be shared in this podcast today. I'm ready. I'm ready to answer questions, ask questions, and grow.
Dope.
So glad to have you guys here.
Glad.
So Amanda gonna kick off the first question.
Oh, okay. All right. Like Kay said, we're obviously discussing Black men and mental health. And obviously, mental health, it can be for all men. But we want to particularly talk to Black men. One, because we are Black. And also because I feel like as a female, sometimes you all's mental health isn't really brought up, or either you don't know how to have conversations maybe with us as females about it. So I just want to educate myself and put myself in a circle full of men that I trust your opinion and your mindset, and then also to like really help somebody else that potentially doesn't know how to have this conversation and wants to have it. So I guess the first question I would have for you all would be, what is your definition of mental health? Like, how do you all know to check in with your mental health for yourself? Anybody can start it off. Don't be shy.
I can start it off. Uh,
Okay.
so, mental health to me is your state of mind, how you carrying yourself, and how do you interpret things, and how you feel, the way you think, how you think about it, and it's so many different things can affect. And one of the hardest things is actually controlling how you feel, and that takes a lot of discipline. And but mental health, it's a variety of different things that culminate to how you perceive and how you function throughout the world.
Love
I like
that.
that.
I agree
Anybody
with that.
else?
Mental health is definitely a state of mind. Definitely, sometimes it's even hard to know where your mental health is at times. Sometimes you can get so caught up in that day to where you forget to check in and you feel yourself in one way or another slipping off, and you have to remind yourself, okay, time to check in. That was been one of my things, just reminding myself to check in with my. I had to do it today. I was like, okay, I felt the walls closing in. I'm at home because I'm, like I said, helping my mom and my dad. So when I feel those walls closing in, I was like, okay, I got to get out, got to do something, got to be mobile. Grabbed my saxophone, went to, I think it was to my sister's church and played a little bit just to get out, get moving, or I might work out with the oxygen flowing. Do something like this, just staying active. And then it's with mental health too, is what you feed yourself, trying to feed myself with positive vibes, positive affirmations for myself. Because sometimes it's so easy for me as myself to neglect myself because it's so easy for me to do for others at times than it is to do for myself. So just taking that personal time, that me time. Yes.
Absolutely.
That's really good.
To throw in my 2 cents, I think it's difficult to define mental health without pinging off of other people because we are social creatures and this whole life thing that we're doing together, we're not just doing it by ourselves. So I think mental health has something to do with how you relate to others as well as how you relate to yourself, both psychologically and emotionally. So there are some people who feel amazing about themselves and they feel like the outside, like the external, is 100% the problem and they're problematic. And we would call people like that narcissists, right? Where they feel like they're perfect and the outer world is the issue and they need to change and everything about them is just, it's perfection, right? But I think that good mental health is having a kind of cohesion with the external world and the people around you as well as yourself. Like Terrell was saying, where you're not just doing for others and not doing for yourself as well. It's like you two are also a part of that equation and a part of that balance. And so having all of those things matter and balance well would be someone who has great mental health. But then having an imbalance one way or another, that's going to affect how you feel psychologically, but also emotionally.
Right. Yeah. Balance is
I was
key.
going
Like you
to
said,
off of
yeah,
that
that's a good point.
because I'm a little selfish. If I'm not happy, nobody else can be happy around me. So I
Amen.
got to be happy.
It starts with you, though. It does.
I need to
And a
be
lot of
Yes.
people would say that's
right.
selfish, but the foundation of being selfless, I think, is being selfish. Like you said, like
Right.
you take care of yourself, and then if there's excess, you freely give that to others. You know?
You're
Absolutely.
right. Yeah. I always take that analogy of when they tell you when you're on an airplane, you're flying somewhere, they tell you to grab your oxygen mask first and
Yep.
put it on
Mhm.
yourself before helping anyone else. And it took
Right.
me a while to, I was literally on a plane when I applied that to my life. I was like, oh, like, because I was like, you go through life and I'm always helping others. I'm always on the move. And I slowly feel myself like declining. I'm like, why
Mm.
am I feeling weak? Why am I feeling? Is because I never took the time to take care of me first. And
Right.
I had to realize that it took some time for me to realize that. But and I'm still dealing with it. Every day is a day of growth. Every day is a day of learning.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you
Hmm.
might fall off and you have to remind yourself to get back on. So it's a constant journey for me. But yeah, just remember to put mine on first, take care of me, because how can I take care of anyone else if I don't take care of myself first? I'm the
Yeah.
foundation of me. I can't do anything outside of me unless I take care of me first.
Absolutely.
Remind me of a scripture really fast that was talking about that you're supposed to love your neighbor as you love yourself, and the first criteria being loving yourself. And it also said, love not in word, and not only in word and tongue, but in truth and in deed. and that means action. So the way that you talk and the way that you live and the actions you do to love yourself, that was the same action you're supposed to reflect on other people. Because you can't, like I say, you can't do it for yourself, and there's no way you can do it to other people. So you can't treat yourself how you
Yeah,
expect to treat other people.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention with the mental health is I love everything everyone had to say. To me, it's like a balancing act between the stress of family, work, finances of life, and then also with the relaxations and the thing that you like doing, like going out, dancing, singing, playing an instrument, and then also the day
Mm.
to day life while still having an outlet of some sort to express those deeper things that get pent up inside yourself. So that's what mental health is to me. It's just the balancing act between all three of those different aspects.
That's
That's
good.
literally
That's good. And that it's so funny that you bring up talking about stress and like your daily life. That's actually a follow up question that we have. And I guess, Tyrone, because you're already talking about it, how do you deal with stress in your life?
If you don't know this, I like to sing. So
What?
I
mm.
had no idea.
I can't sing, but I can barely sing.
No, that's a
Oh,
lie.
I'm an average
That's a
singer.
lie,
I'm an
Tyrone. Don't
average
make me post
singer.
a video because I have video of you singing. Don't play with me.
Yeah,
I got
anyone can
receipts.
sing.
I
Anyone
feel
can
like he got
sing,
a great
but
voice. I can feel that. I think you do got a really great voice, whether you believe it or not. I've never heard it, but I can see that you probably can blow.
Uh-oh, what's going
Well,
on? He's like, you think I can sing? How dare you? And he ran
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
he said, "Oh, you have video of me singing? I'm
I'm
out of here."
gone.
No blast.
Exactly.
All right, we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're both on app form though, so I'm wondering if it's like their connection.
So how long y'all been doing the podcast? Y'all podcast?
Since October.
October.
Yeah. It's been like what, 7 months? We post every week
Okay. Now,
since October.
now how is the process for y'all? Is it tough to get people?
No, it's not really tough. One thing about me and Amanda, like we have really good people in our lives. We have people that do some amazing things. It makes it easy to bring people on as a guest because everybody is like killing it in their life. Like regardless of if you actually where you want to be or wherever you did in your past, everybody has something to offer. And we would like to be intentional about the friends that we make. So everybody literally is an asset to us.
Mm.
Not only just like our loving friendship relationships, but just an asset as what they do in their lives. That's why you guys are on the show because we respect what you guys do as men. We respect you guys as friendships. We respect where you are in your life. And we feel like you all have something to bring to the table to talk about mental health.
And also just highlighting that because a lot of the people that we've brought on, I mean, whether they're big in their own cities, towns, whatever or not, like still just highlighting that because if we have a platform now and if our platforms are growing, obviously anybody else's platform potentially could grow as an extension. And so it's really just like bringing people where like we can highlight that, oh, you have a business, oh, you do this, oh, you do that. Like, why not highlight that? Because we throw baby showers and all types of stuff all the time too, right? We need to start throwing like business showers.
Yeah.
Can we have a business party? Like, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Come on. Come on.
Oh yeah, that's right.
so it's a little version of it. Okay, we can at least talk about it on the podcast and get that out there across all these waves and platforms. So yeah, that's it. It's been a fun ride.
Such good
Yeah.
intentions, man.
Thank you, Austin.
Hey y'all,
I'm Kay,
I'm Amanda,
and we're your hosts of We Got Ish to Say
and Everyday Vibe
podcast. We just wanted to drop in and say, don't forget to join our community.
and Everyday Vibe.
In this community, you have access to
So much more. Do it.
Do it now.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now. Welcome back,
back.
everybody.
Back. We're shooting and action. All right. So we had a question before everybody left. We were talking about stress. Tyrone brought up something about stress, and that's actually leading into our next question. How do you deal with stressors in life? Tyrone, we're gonna start with you.
okay. So stress. I'm a singer in the sense that I'm like a shower singer, but I sing outside the shower, but it still sounds like I'm in the shower. If that, Yeah,
I'm with you,
oh,
Ty.
oh,
I'm
I'm okay. I'm an okay singer, but so something that I tend to do, like if I get really stressed out, I used to just take walks and just sing like a crazy person on the street, or just in the house.
I love
That's not,
I
sounds
relate
very
to
good.
that. When I was a supervisor at Starbucks, I walked around singing all the time, and that's how you knew I was like, talk to me, I'm just singing.
I
I'm just
I
singing.
be singing the Dr. Watts too. If you know what the Dr. Watts is,
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
god. That's pretty healthy though. Anybody else got something to add to how they deal with stress?
So how I deal with stress, I go work out. I go work out about every weekday. I take the weekends off. But how I used to deal with stress is I used to eat. I used to eat a
Mm.
whole lot, and I had to maneuver out of that stress helper in order to really gain where I needed to go. Because being where I was at to where I am now, I understand like it's better for me to do this than to do the eating because I love to eat. I love to eat, and I find out that I got to be full, not to be overindulging. Since one of my stress, the way I really stress is by working out. My thing as well, Ty. So I can really, that's why I relate to you. I sing as well. So that's another stress reliever for me. And also, I dance.
My
I can
man.
two. My two step is crazy. All right. I can do bachata, cumbia, like those different type of like line dance. I love line dancing. So those are some of the ways I relieve stress,
Oh, very nice.
That's
and
good.
other ways, but I don't talk about that on here.
Bro.
That's a healthy. That's a
Bro.
we're adults. Adults. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Terrell.
Me myself, I do some of the same things because I do wear many hats. I'm a Renaissance man. So I do so much because of the profession that I'm in. Being a direct care professional, I had to take some of the things that I would do for others and start doing for myself. I sing, I do massage therapy, I do music therapy, anything from cleaning, cooking, just keeping my mind busy and occupied. I'm a singer, a musician also, so I like to play my instruments at any given point in time, keep a saxophone, or lately I just started playing the acoustic guitar, so I keep a guitar by my bed, singing in the shower, singing, like you said, just out in public. I'm always singing and humming something. And sometimes that's actually how I got this gig. I was telling them earlier before we got online that I was in a play, and that's actually how I got the play. Just out trying to clear my mind, walked into a wings place and I was singing, and a director was sitting there and he was like, "Hey, was that you?" Something like that.
Mm.
Working out. I want to get back into martial arts. When I was in California, I did security. So when I'm not helping other people, I switched it towards myself. Usually, what I would do is I would try to find somebody else to help because I found that it was a blessing to be a blessing. So just helping other people through their situations actually helped me through my situation. Learning how other people cope helped me cope. Helping other people cope helped me cope. So yeah, I do a lot of things, mainly singing, working out, Lord, cooking. And
What you
when
can
all said
cook?
and done, I probably man,
Silly,
man,
man.
I love to cook. Soul food is my thing, man. Like I said, I was born in the country. I was born in Alabama, so I love some soul food. Then when I moved to California, man, I learned other things from cooking Spanish food, Italian food, you name it. I try to dabble in it just to say. The thing I want to learn now is Jamaican food. That's what I want to learn. Jamaican
Oh,
food, yes.
Oh yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
next thing
Curry
to try
got
to
us.
jump on. Curry,
He just eat the
jerk
food.
chicken, curry chicken.
Oh,
Shoot, yeah. Want to learn how to do that jerk chicken pasta? Oh man,
bro.
Atlanta, Georgia, man, they got so many different food places out there that man, it's inspiring.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I'm loving the move closer door down south because I see being in Atlanta, going back and forth to Atlanta, I get to see a lot of people that look like me doing things that I know I want to do. So it's inspiring
Yeah.
being able to encourage other people that look like me and seeing us being able to work together, because that's another thing too. Us as people of color, it's like we've been pitted against each other for so long, to where
Yeah.
I'm loving this new generation and how we're being able to work together, deal with our, I would say, generational curses, things that have been put upon us that we're learning that we need to deal with. There's a lot of things that's been
Yes.
family placed upon us and systemically placed upon us that we don't necessarily realize until you open up that box and you be like, okay, I don't have to be this person. I don't have to think like that. I don't have to feel like this. And when you become in tune with that and you realize what's going on, then is, I wouldn't say it's easy to deal with, but now there's a lot of things that I've found out and that I know now, but it's still hard for me to deal with. I know I ain't supposed to be eating some of this food, but I still
Yeah.
eat it because that's what I'm used to. It tastes good. That's what my body's used to. But I'm trying to do better when it comes to stuff like that, because I know what I eat affects my mental also. My physical health
Yeah.
affects my mental health. And like I've learned that the number one thing that we as Americans and African Americans that gets us the most is sugar. Like Americans are so, that's
Yeah.
the number one thing that we're addicted to is sugar. And I was like, well, I didn't realize that until I went to the Philippines and I couldn't get it. And I literally detoxed. I was there for 3 weeks and detoxed. And I was like, wow, because, and I learned a lot. If I would tell anybody anything, I would say take the time to travel outside of the country, see how other people live, and be able to be in tune with other people on other continents, and that would definitely open up your eyes. It opened up my eyes so much. It really did.
Yeah. Austin, didn't you just recently
Yeah,
travel?
I was touring the country on a Magic Mike tour, but it was within the states, so I just hit different states in
Oh,
the
nice.
country.
You said Magic
Yeah,
Mike?
yeah, it was a male stripper tour. Although technically we weren't strippers, we're more like exotic entertainers. So like the point wasn't to see us
Uh
naked.
huh.
We just so happened to dance and get naked. You know what I'm saying? What the focus was a little bit different. It,
Okay.
I like how you
Exotic
put
dancer.
that.
Okay.
was a little bit different. But yeah, even just
But
within the
you really are.
Right.
states, it was definitely eye opening, I would say. Like you take for granted being in
Hmm.
California, being in Los Angeles especially, how diverse it is, and the amount of
Right.
influence that Mexican culture has had on the city is it's invisible to you until you go to other cities, other states, and you're like, oh, you guys don't have taco trucks? You don't know what you really see some of the invisible things you take for granted. You see the
Yes.
difference. And also too,
Right.
Los Angeles really
Yes.
is, for all of the racial issues that we deal with, this is definitely one of the more open-minded states and cities that you could be in. And you realize that when you're in the middle of Kansas or Pennsylvania and people are looking at you like, is he just
Hmm.
really tan or is this a black man? You know what I'm saying? It's definitely different. And like you said, traveling can open your
Exactly.
eyes, can really open your eyes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we know you
Wow.
actually do dance. Like you dance.
Dance, dance.
Outside of doing that, is dancing one of your ways of releasing your stresses of life, or is it just you're just talented, so you do it to
That's so
get out
cute.
of it?
I wouldn't even say I'm talented. I was garbage, had no rhythm. I was teased a lot growing up because I was the black guy who didn't know how to dance. Yeah,
What?
that's a whole other story. I have friends, I have screenshots of friends saying, I remember when you couldn't dance to save a soul, and now it is your soul. So messages like that mean a lot to me
Wow.
because of where I came from.
That's a great
But
message.
yeah, but I would
That's
say for
fire.
stress,
What
I picked
motivates
up
you?
meditation about 4 years ago, and that's been really pivotal as far as managing my stress levels, just being
That's
present
cool.
to things. I think dance in the past was an escape. It was a beautiful escape for stress, and that's why I ended up getting so good because I was so stressed. So I spent a lot of time dancing. But I find that as I've gotten older, I've become a
Okay.
bit more
Hmm.
confrontational with uncomfortable emotions and situations. And by that, if I'm
Hmm.
dating someone and me and my girl are having a problem, rather than going out dancing and taking my mind off of it, I'd rather have that uncomfortable conversation and approach the cause of that discomfort. And that's not to say that there aren't going to be times
Right.
when you have uncomfortable emotions that you can't process in the moment. Like that kind of confrontation would be counterproductive in that sense, right? Like maybe you've had a breakup and you've ruminated on the cause of it and your emotions are just all over the place. At that point, maybe going out to dance or cooking something delicious, learning a new Jamaican recipe, maybe that would be more productive than trying to
Right.
attack the heartbreak. But generally speaking, I like approaching whatever is the cause of the stress and resolving it then and there rather than escaping it.
I can relate to that. I like to confront my stressors head on because I'm not the type of person that holds a grudge or
Mm,
holds on to things. I'm pretty much a positive, happy
mm,
person. So if I feel stress or something, I'm like, this isn't me. So it has to I have to be able to understand
yeah.
and process the things that need to be done so I can let it go and get on with my 50 things I got to
Mm,
do that day. So I can totally Austin.
Shout out to y'all.
yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to y'all.
You don't.
I do not
Oh,
be in that
Amanda.
manner. I run from mine. I said no. I'm real good on that. I don't want to deal with it. Thanks.
Amen. It's different levels.
Sure. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Hmm.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa. System. Right. Mm, mm, right. It's so funny. I know that you guys are like my tribe and my people because so many of your answers have covered half of the questions that we have for y'all. And I'm like, so let me just be like, hey, we gonna get you. I love it.
Bro.
Right, let's dance.
My guy.
So this is what we'll do. The two dancers in there can help you, Terrell, and then Terrell, you can help Tyrone.
Yes.
Move. That's what I need.
Move.
Mm, mm,
Uh,
mm. Wow.
So we need to have karaoke.
All right. So, Austin, you had mentioned like relationships. So I want to know, like, you guys is like obviously black men, and whether you're dating in your race, out of your race, whatever the case may be. When it comes time for like romantic relationships, have you all like ever felt supported, like fully supported or fully comfortable in discussing your mental health and the things that you guys deal with and take on as men? Because I feel like a lot of times you stuff it, and that could just be my perception, but I feel like a lot of times you stuff it. So I just want to know, have you ever really felt supported like in a romantic relationship when it comes time for that?
Mm.
And that's why,
Wow.
that's another reason why I would be like, okay, I would be hesitant to talk to certain people, especially being in a relationship, because it's the ones that you care for the most that hurt you the most in some instances.
Definitely.
And I
Yeah.
think it's a cultural thing, especially for us, being black men. It's a double standard, and we have to start working on those standards because a lot of it is systemic because of how they took the black man out of the homes. A lot of it is us growing up with single parent households. That's another thing I do. I would work with single parents, single moms, single dads, and I've been doing that since I've been here also. And that's another way to get in and be able to understand the other side of it. But to answer your question, it's I have more friends that I can talk to, but as far as relationship wise, I haven't had that yet. Relationship, friendship wise, yes.
Okay.
Like having conversations like this with my sister or with you guys, it's easier to have a collective like
Yeah.
this and be able to get it out than it would be in a relationship, because once you say that I'm yours and you're mine, that narrative changes the whole dynamic of a friendship or that involvement with a person that I'm learning. And I'm still learning.
Okay.
Thank you.
I love that honesty and
All
stuff.
right, can I?
Yeah.
So, from my experience, I'm 32 years old, and had the, I've been blessed to be a part of a lot of relationships. I was able to express myself. I'm masculine. Like I know who I am, but I know like I got feelings as a man too, and it's just really who your partner is. And that's really where it boils down to, like how comfortable are you with your partner. And I've been fortunate enough to have partners where I could express my feelings. Maybe it did take me time to grow into that role of being able to express my feelings. And I'm not to say I'm going to express it with everyone because it's not everybody's part to know. But
Right.
for my partner, who I choose to go further with as far as in expressing how I feel and what I want and what I want from them, the last relationship I was in, I was able to express that. But it does come with some drawbacks because it's like, all right, I feel this way, and you need
Mm,
to validate how I feel. And I'm like, I get it, but I still feel this way about it. And I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
stubborn sometimes, so
mm,
that's something I need to work on. Uh,
What sign is that?
but
I don't know.
as far as relationships wise, I've been able to express myself, and I'm not the type to hold shit, hold stuff in. So if I need to say it, it's gonna be said. And
Yeah.
how you take it, we have a conversation about it. We gonna go forward on that. But you gonna know how I feel. It's
Right.
inevitable. You gonna know how. But I did have relationships where I was able to express myself, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the individuals I was in a relationship with.
Yeah, that's a blessing for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
It is.
Definitely.
Our other two men.
after you, Tyrone. After you, sir.
It's gonna be a quick one because I haven't really been a real. I don't think I've been something that actually could be considered a relationship. If you ask me, I've been more so on the
Okay.
single side. And that being said, I have not felt comfortable with to the point where I could felt like I could tell them stuff just because, like I said, you got a little time period for people, and then you need to see if they can be trusted. I'm more so with Terrell, like having the friends
Hmm.
that been there for a long time, or a brother or a family member that you can go and talk to some stuff about, who can relate to some of the issues. Because our parents are in the South. Having another parent in the South
Right.
you can talk to about another family member that knows pretty much the same issue, but it's just I haven't felt comfortable enough. So that is something that I do need to work with on. But I feel like if I get in a relationship, I can't see a long term relationship succeeding without that comfort or
Mm,
without the
Right.
level of communication, because it's just so much that goes on in the marriage that between you and that person together. If that makes
mm-hmm.
Right.
not marriage is one of the way for long term relationship, but
Mm,
uh,
Right. No, we got you.
but it's
Yeah.
just hey, you're gonna be with someone for a long time. You need to know how to act, and they you know that hey, everything's not gonna be sunshine all the time. So how do you handle when you go through some things? So I gotta work on being more
Right.
comfortable with telling folks, and like you said, judging and identifying people who I can tell in your life. Because like I said, it don't have to be the person you're dating now, but you do want to develop a relationship to the point where you can tell them that
Mm,
stuff.
Right. Absolutely.
wow,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's good.
powerful, man.
That's good.
I think the way I see it
Yeah.
is I haven't been fully, or at least I haven't registered like a full support and encouragement emotionally in a relationship. But if I did, I'd be married to her. That's almost like the deciding
Awesome.
factor for whether or not someone is going to be your life partner is once you find that, it's just such a rare thing to come across. It's like, why wouldn't you want
Right.
to lock in with it? But also, too, I think that
Yeah.
if you are
Mhm.
someone who is thoughtful and emotionally in tune, you're going to have a hard time finding. Like, not only is it rare, but also the number of people who are doing that work and introspection and finding that understanding, that's a small minority, too. And I guess to answer your question, no, I've had
Yeah.
glimpses of it, but one particular example that's coming to mind is the woman was she was sweet and she was definitely like trying to create that space for me to be vulnerable, but she was doing it in a selfish way where she's like, if you're going to be weak, do it for me, do it with me around, and I'm the one who gets your weakness. Like, it was to satisfy her own ego rather than for it to be like
Right.
a safe space for me. And then in other instances, I relate a lot with Terrell, where what I trusted them with was leveraged against me. I haven't found it yet. If I were to find it, though, there'd be no question. Like, I would
Mhm.
lock that in and show full gratitude and appreciation for it. She wouldn't have to worry about me going anywhere because that's such a hard thing to find. I'd want to keep it.
And that's crazy because, like, I can, from my experience, a lot of women, once you get to know them, they will be receptive to listening for me. But I don't tell them everything because, some things I
Agreed.
need a male's perspective on. But I've been fortunate enough, I've been able to cry in front of my ex and not feel
Mm.
like demasculated or emasculated. I was grateful to have that bonding moment with her. But I'm sad. I'm sorry for y'all. Y'all haven't ever been able to
Appreciate the
experience
empathy,
that
man.
yet.
Mhm. Yeah. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a
definitely.
beautiful thing to
Mhm.
experience. And we wanted to bring that question up because obviously we're women and there is a difference of how we show up in our emotions. Obviously some men are more emotional than other men and vice versa to women, but for women it's easier to show up in your emotions and to feel supported. I guess if a person sees a woman crying or a woman sad, they're more like, what's wrong, and they're like wanting to lend a hand or lend an ear.
Right.
And seeing like the black man not getting that a lot of the things you
Mhm.
talk about systemically and like generationally, like those are things that have come up. I have a question. Just hearing you guys' thoughts on this. Have you now looked for partners or changed like the way you date or what you're looking for because of what you've experienced and not being heard from women or being heard by women? Have you changed up what you're looking for of how you seek a mate,
Tyrone, go
things
ahead. I
around
see
your
you.
mental
Yeah,
health?
yeah, we saw you. We see you, Tyrone. We
Tyrone.
see
Yeah,
you.
I see the
We
look on
see
his
you,
face.
brother.
Yeah, yeah. He like, hell no.
I lie to you.
Like what I like.
I like what I like. She could be mean as hell. I don't care.
And then don't get me wrong. Sometimes not just sometimes not just where not we feel comfortable. Sometimes it's the pride that we have as a man,
Oh,
Mhm.
Mm.
because um, there's a certain pride like, hey, you're supposed to be able to handle or certain responsibility plays. Hey, you're supposed to be handling this and this. That we like the feeling of being able to handle that by ourselves, even though some stuff we should not
Could I just
have
say,
to handle
I
by
really
ourselves.
appreciate that
So this is a
accountability because it isn't just like them pressuring us. Like you said, we also do it to ourselves where we hold ourselves to this standard too. And I just wanted to say, I really
Right.
appreciate that input.
yeah. I forgot the question was no, it hasn't. Nah, because I'm still at the phase now where I'm just dating to get to know other people and how what type of person that I might want to date. If that makes sense. I'm still in the discovery phase of the dating. I got started really
Mm,
late when it came to dating. I grew up like in a very Christian household in the South. Focus mainly was school, church, and sports. I
Yeah.
caught up to like common, like I caught up to like
mm,
common knowledge like in college. Like my household was pretty much like a household that just played
wow.
gospel music 24/7. So I
Yeah.
was
Same here.
So
like
you trying to
college.
play catch
I
up.
think college up socially, like trying to get to A level, and then I spent my life out here in LA trying. Okay, now let me
Yeah.
see what I can use.
Got to.
Yeah.
So
We know now. We know why these parties you be throwing around now. Okay.
Oh,
Tyrone said, "I'm out here having fun. I don't care about the mental health, whatever. She ain't got to listen.
I'm gonna have to
She
come
ain't
full
got to
circle
listen.
then.
yeah,
It's cool. We just having fun."
okay.
Come on,
I'm,
Terrell.
I'm gonna
Come
need an
through,
invite to one of
bro.
them
Come
parties. I'm gonna have to
through,
come to a
bro.
party then.
Terrell, you have to.
I'm through.
Yeah, you got to come out here.
Man. Yes, yes,
I'm gonna
definitely.
say
I
too.
look
I'm
at it
really
like
Definitely.
that.
curious to hear
captain.
Raylan's answer
Um,
because on the last question you seem to have a different perspective. So I'm curious how you're going to approach this one.
so
Yeah.
with dating, I do see certain qualities that I want in a woman, and listening gotta be one of them. Because you want me to listen to you, I
Yeah.
want you to listen to me. And my focus on dating has changed because I'm really focused on making sure I'm the best me first.
That part.
Everything else will fall in line as long as I'm doing and fulfilling my purpose. And so that's my main goal. And so I do express that with anyone that I am dating, that my purpose is first and foremost. And once I get to that aspect and that goal, and I think it's a forever thing. So I'm finding myself like realizing, okay, maybe I can give a little leeway because my purpose can go on for forever.
Mm.
And, we're not getting any younger, even though
Black don't crack,
you
baby.
can't
That black
tell.
don't crack,
but,
baby.
um,
That black
um,
don't crack.
but I did find myself adjusting in dating because not everybody is meant for you. And not everybody
That's
is
true.
good for you. Not they're not
Yeah.
good for you and good to you. And
Yeah.
so I had to realize that, and then I adjusted the way I look at women, the way I want to be perceived by women. And so, yes, I definitely adjusted throughout the years of trying to become a better me, and so I could be a better partner to my woman. And so it was just really critiquing small things like through the relationships I had to like, okay, I can do that better to satisfy her. I can listen more because I found that sometimes you just need to listen so they can be heard, not listen to respond. And
Yeah.
that was one of the things I've learned throughout the years. And I'm going to continue to develop and continue to grow so I can be the best man, I can be the best husband for
Gorgeous, man.
my wife.
Quick question, Ray. So
Yes, sir.
and how you was focusing in on yourself. One thing I do want a little clarity on: while you focusing in on yourself and your purpose, are you still searching for women? So it's not like you said, it's a lifelong thing. So I know what you're saying. Make this point, but
That's good. Good
That door,
question.
that door will always be open.
there.
Um,
So this not to say, hey, I'm working on myself, so I can't date or do nothing. No, it's hey, I'm working on myself, but as I work on myself, I'm still looking for that opportunity to find.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I don't want people just to go into that pigeonhole of I'm going to keep working on myself so I can expect the same grace that you want people to have for you,
Mm.
give to them.
Yes.
And I'm still open to networking. I'm still open to dating. I just know that everything else will fall in line as long as I'm in line. As
Yeah,
long as I got myself in check, as long as I
Right.
got myself disciplined,
yeah.
everything else is gonna follow suit.
I
And
agree.
and that's and,
Ding ding ding.
and I've been finding that out through my life. Like, Ray, when you have everything, all your ducks in a row, everything else
Mm.
just moves smoothly, very smoothly. I'm gonna
Yes.
continue to do that. I'm gonna continue to effectively grow within so I can effectively grow without and help everything and be the person I can be and affect everybody around me.
Yeah, there's a concept called the you're not two half circles forming one huge. You're two separate
Mm.
circles coming together.
Yin and
Not
yang.
looking for no one to complete you in a relationship.
I'm
And
Hmm.
looking for somebody to compliment me.
there we go.
Right.
Compliment.
So get the list, Ray, because I'm trying to take notes. Damn.
Um, so
Ooh,
what as far as what I look for,
Yeah.
so what I look for in a woman.
Sidebar.
Right.
Sidebar.
oh, but also, Terrell, if you could
Um,
answer too,
Oh
how
like,
that's
man.
changed over the course of your relationship. I'm really interested to hear your answer too, because you've got the most years here.
okay, let's go ahead and get real going.
Okay, no problem. I was gonna let all y'all speak, and then I was gonna chime in, and yeah.
Terrell, that.
Ooh, he'll be back.
So I was gonna say it's interesting because all of my relationships have been really expansive for me personally. So I've learned things about myself. My capacities emotionally have grown because of all of them, which is weird because I find that as I grow and develop as a person, I'm less and less motivated to get into relationships, which is the strangest thing because I guess what I'm expecting a relationship to give me, I start to realize I can provide for myself. And I don't mean that in a selfish, maybe bitter way. Oh, I don't need anybody else. I don't mean it in that way, but I mean a lot of my emotional needs that I'm expecting my partner to meet actually aren't their responsibility. And in fact, it's better if I meet them myself. And so I guess what I'm looking for in a partner these days is almost like that same level of understanding and independence where they're not putting responsibilities on me that they can fulfill themselves. And that's actually really hard to find, surprisingly. It's it
That is a
That
very
is. That's
mature,
really good.
like, you guys all said some really amazing things. And that's one of the reasons why we have you guys on the show, because we feel like you guys can add value to other Black men. And like, right on, Austin, like you said, not the fact, like, of course you yearn for companionship, right? But saying, oh, I want to feel supported, or I want to feel loved, I want to feel these things that you can give yourself. And at some point when you have given yourself that, the relationship part is, man, I don't even need it. It's more so about the companionship, and also what can this person bring to the table for me, for both of us to keep growing. That's a very mature way to put it. And thank you for just
yeah, of
even
course,
being
of course.
vulnerable enough to put it out there.
Yeah, be afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Some men would definitely be afraid to say that.
So, ladies, I got a question
Terrell,
for
yeah.
y'all. Do
Huh.
y'all feel like y'all the table, or y'all need to bring something to the table?
This
Ah,
is
that's
such a
funny.
culturally relevant
I
question. This has been like
I feel like it
It
Yeah.
is.
is.
It definitely is. I'm gonna say for me personally, I feel like I have to bring something to the table.
Okay. Okay.
I think the table is split.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this relationship is
That's right.
two-sided. So I'm gonna do me and you gonna do you, but how we
Do it
gonna
together.
do it together? So there's one person that's gonna have finance, great. There's another person that might be like a little bit more mature emotionally, or handle things a bit different. But the whole process, you are in a relationship. This is two people. Why one person gotta have money and then the other person got
mm,
body, looks, or whatever? Bring
That
it to the
I'm
table.
about to say, but isn't that bringing something to the table then? Because like I could, like Terrell said earlier, right? Like where he may be somewhere way more mature,
Yeah.
I may still need to mature to that.
Yeah.
Okay, but like I can also be higher than him in another level. So isn't that bringing something to
Yeah.
the table then?
Right.
That
It
you're
is.
kind of like lacking.
It is. But I feel like in this conversation, people are basically trying to say one person has to bring more to the table than the other. It's an
True.
equal table. When you look at a table, the table is made in a freaking sequence where all the
Right.
parts are equal so it can work. If the table was all lopsided and fucked up, the food is going to fall. So both people need to be able to
Right.
bring
Right.
something to the table, or not really about, oh, you the man, so you need to have the finances.
Right.
You the woman, so you need to have the home
That's
situation.
those
Like,
stereotypes.
we all come from
Right.
different things.
Hmm.
We all have things that we can
Gender
bring.
type.
The
Yeah.
main thing you need to be focused on is Can we come together? And are you going to accept the things that I have? And am I going to accept the
Exactly.
things that you have? And if we can't do that, we need to break
Exactly.
apart.
You're right. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, let's play around the trivia real quick. If you had to take a guess, what would you say is the top factor of stress in most people's life today? Did you answer money or finances? I'd have to agree. My name is Amanda Johnson, and I'm a financial professional who sees the chaos and fallout of financial stress on families and individuals every single day. You don't have to be one of them. You don't have to be there, and life is not meant to be lived that way. I invite you to connect with me and have a conversation about where you're at financially and where you're trying to go. It's completely free to have a conversation and get information that could change the trajectory of your future. Are you willing to bet on you? Click the link in my bio and join me on my mission to change the lives of financial literacy. Let's go!
We love equality. I'm a gay woman. I have a girlfriend. So, of course, my thoughts and ideas around relationships and romance and partnership are going to look a little bit different because we are both women. But even if I was dating a man, I got my shit, you got your shit, we gonna bring it together. Correct. It ain't really nothing about sexuality or gender roles. It's shit. The trash needs to be taken out, motherfucker. Take it out. If you see that it's full, take it out. If the food needs to be made, cook it. Like it ain't, oh, that's your job. Oh, that's I was waiting on you. No, this is a relationship. We gotta both make it work equally. Because if not, then I could be in love by myself. Yes. Yeah. There you go. Little chicken breast.
Come on.
There you go. Yep. Exactly. Yes. Mm,
Mm.
that's a great gesture. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at all these emotionally intelligent black men. Like, wow. Like, I'm not going to say I'm impressed because I know you guys all personally, but just to hear it come from the
Mm.
mouth, it's like even more warming. It's like we hear all these conversations on social media about men and how you guys get a lot of fucking shade and like negative talk and stuff. And it's just because the masses or what seems like to be the masses, they out here just destroying lives. But
Mhm.
we have to remember that everybody is individuals and you got to give everybody the room to grow and mature. But just thank you for just
Mm.
stepping up today and just letting the people know
Yeah.
how
And
you
this is like
feel.
a quick like rapid fire because I feel like I know because I've heard it a lot so far, but some of you may differ. So obviously being in relationships is do you all still believe in marriage? Is that the goal for you? Because I've had conversations individually with some of you, so I know yes or no. But just rapid fire, yes or
Yeah.
no.
And
So
we
no
ready to hear about
explanation. You
Tyrell.
just
We got
wanted
you,
No, we know.
Tyrell.
a
Yeah,
straight
correct.
cut answer.
Yeah.
I do believe.
Bet. Okay.
Oh no. Yeah. No,
Tyrone?
I don't think
It's
so.
What?
Austin.
Oh,
It's no.
What?
Austin said no.
Yeah, I was like, I know
No.
Austin doesn't, which is
I
why I
mean,
was like,
I wish I could, but I feel like a lot of the laws, it's the government side of the contract. So I think that they've set it up to exploit a man and woman's emotional bond so that they can financially profit off of it. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the union between a man and a woman. I think that commitment is beautiful and I think it's eternal. I think the way that the government has set it up actually incentivizes men and women to combat one another so that they can hire attorneys, so that the government can reallocate their resources, get their hands on their money. And I just don't agree with how the laws have been set up to put men and women against one another. I think that there's a more cohesive way that we could have gone about symbolizing that eternal union. And I don't think the current way that it's set up is in men and women's best interest.
Yeah, because separating the
They
family
get their
strengthens
hands on
that.
that money and they have total influence over the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's
Yep.
I've heard this before from Austin, and I loved it. I was like, wow. Because I honestly, I never thought of it that way at all. And so it was a new way of looking at things for me. But then it also brings up, like, when there's so many women who are out here who are potentially searching for marriage,
Yeah.
they're looking for men. And you, like, all of you are a great package, right? All of you would be men that I
oh,
think women would
Amanda,
love to be like,
So
hell yeah,
been
like, I
encouraging.
found a good one. Right? And so with
Come
that
on,
being
man, you
thank
said,
you,
heard that,
boy.
bro? Like,
no, truly, you guys are all incredible. I love you guys for sure, and I definitely think you all are great men to somebody. Your woman is out there somewhere. Like, you all are great men to them. But and obviously, whoever you deal with is going to have to deal with or take on the different perspectives and whatnot. So, like for Austin in particular, like I was saying, like with women with marriage, like I think there's some women who, if they don't take the time to completely understand what you're saying and hear you out and look at it
for
and just
sure.
have an open mind to it, that would be like a deal breaker. And I feel like that's absolutely unfair and sucks because it's a piece of paper that we're arguing about right now. Honestly, that's what it boils down to. We're arguing about a piece of paper that we have to file. So I just think that aspect of it is absolute trash, but I can see both sides of it, right? So that's the only reason I asked that question. Because I'm just like,
And Ray, you
open
said
your
yes.
minds, people.
Ray, you said yes,
Yes.
right? Looking for a wife. What about Tyrone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they believe in marriage.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But just
Me personally, I have married people in my life, but also when you experience marriage as a kid and like you hear stuff, it taints your thought process of what that looks like. But I can understand where Austin is coming from, and I'm more on that side of things. Like, yes, I want a union, but do I want somebody to have autonomy over my union? No. And then look at
And
the
that's
divorce rate.
intentional.
It's crazy. Right. People, and then the whole idea being a woman and understanding women, the whole idea, I want to be a wife, I want to have a marriage, I want to have a wedding, like all this stuff is not really realistic or rooted into like companionship.
Right.
I want to have a partner. I want to have a person that's going to be there for me and support me. And I want to do that to the other person. Is more so my wedding this and my husband this and this. You just forgot all about the foundation of what it costs to be married. So I just think about it a little differently. But thank you for that. Is Terrell, you back?
I do want to say something really fast. I do believe in marriage, but I also believe that people can find other ways to have that union. So if you're happy
Mm.
with it, I'm happy
Yeah.
with it. I was just
Right. I got
from
you.
my
So,
perspective,
Ty,
like
you believe in
that's
polygamy?
not, and one of the main reasons why I'll say marriage is a kid. I want to be a father, and I feel like that's one of the best environment
Mm.
for a child to grow up in.
Yes.
It could be.
And
Okay.
a good.
Because there's a
Yeah,
lot
bro.
of fucked up marriages out there. And
It
they fucked
is.
up the kids too in the process. So it's
Correct.
it's I mean it's better for a household, but it's definitely better for the household to have a father. Definitely better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation. We talk about mental health.
It
Well,
is. It
Right.
is. But thank
no.
you for
So
going down that rabbit
let's put it
hole with
like
us.
this: it's better for a child to have both people in their relationship, so they can see both parents in their relationship.
Yeah.
Not because without women there, there's something that women actually like. They a lot of kids spend a lot more time with the mothers than they do with the fathers, and some situations vice versa. But it's like they each parent bring different things that are both essential to raising someone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're
And I
good.
got a
Be right
question for
back,
you.
y'all.
So with the marriage thing, would you do more like you wouldn't even go through the state with it? You'll just do more
It would
union with
probably be a
you and
more
the
religious
person?
ceremony because the whole marriage thing also is symbolic of that lifetime commitment. The problem is when you sign that marriage contract, it's no longer you, your wife, and God. It's now you, your wife, and the state of California, or you, your wife, and the United
Yeah.
States. And so any
And
issues that
government.
you two have, it's not like it's you two and
Yes.
God resolving the issue together. Now it's like you and your wife and the government is mediating which side wins. And I just don't think that it's about sides. It's like the Bible said, the two become one, and God is like the glue that allows that union. But if you're not using God and you're now using a literal stand in the government to form that union, I think it corrupts it and it pits the two against one another rather than allowing them to come together. So that's just my thoughts on it. I just don't think it's a coincidence that the divorce rate is so high. I don't think it's a coincidence that both men and women are left wanting and that our relationships aren't as satisfying as they could be. I think that it was set up intentionally. And yeah, that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I think social media has a
How
part
so?
in that
What
too.
kind of part?
Wow. What you
So
say?
you get all these beauty standards, and you're always searching for something new, something better than what you have,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to be just confident in what you have when you're a partner and confident in what you have in yourself because you're always chasing something more. And so you'll see something just for face value and not take in consideration everything else that comes with it. And then you leave someone, and it's like the 80-20 rule. Like you got 20 is so appetizing, but yet
Yeah.
that 80 is there's nothing to show for it. And then it taints your reality of how you see your marriage, how you see your relationship. I think that's one of the social ills that can come with social networking. But I think that also plays a role in how
Mm,
we perceive our relationships because we see like relationship goals,
fair.
and we don't know
Yeah.
the inner workings,
Mm-hmm.
inner lockings of what they have in a relationship because he could be beating the shit
Fair.
out of her, and we don't know that. It's just really you got to really stay tunnel vision in your relationship and you focus on your goals with your woman, with your person, and enjoying that and enjoying it to the fullest and bringing the most out of them because they're gonna bring
Mm-hmm.
the most out of you if you got the right one.
And if you do look
Yeah.
for mentors in relationship, find people in your life who relationship you look up to. That way you can ask them the
Yeah,
hard questions and
yeah.
you can see some of the issues that they went through and not just
Mm-hmm.
assume that everything is just sunshine. If that makes sense. So having people in your life that you
Yeah.
can talk to about these situations helps as well.
But I think we gotta find women for y'all that actually listen to y'all and you can express your
Freaking
emotions to it.
Ray.
That's
That
that's
that really
crazy.
hit
That's
you, huh, bro?
wild, man. That hit me, man, because it's like you if you don't experience that, because it's another way of connecting, man. It's just when you connect with that person and you can express what really was really been bothering you, and they're just listening and they're tuning and they want to help you in any way possible.
I will say
It's
I have that in my platonic relationships, like in some of my friendships and more intimate like friendships. I have that, but I've never had that in a lover at the same time as a friendship. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the question was based on your experiences in previous relationships and not being supported in your mental health, have you and women or the way you do or search for relationships around that lack of experience that you needed or support that you needed?
No, I know I done missed a lot.
We did. We did.
My main thing was is when a gentleman said before is focusing on myself, making sure I come to the table. To be honest, I you attract what you attract, and I know that I'm a helper, I'm a pleaser. So in that, I usually find attract the opposite spectrum, those who need help or whatnot. That could be a fortunate thing, that can be an unfortunate thing. And it doesn't matter to me as long as you're willing to do the work. Like I can't be the only one in the relationship doing the work.
Yeah.
You realize, and the first thing is to realize you have a problem, you have an issue, so we can deal with it together.
Yeah.
And that's what I read into in the last relationship I was in. To answer your marriage question, yes, I want to be married.
Yeah.
I love,
You heard it.
I want to be married. That has always been. I grew up in. I'm a PK. I'm a preacher's kid, so that's been instilled in me. I'm looking outside the box now to where my problem is I think I share too much. I'm a little bit too in touch with, so it make women run.
Oh.
And I talked about this before because they see how in tune, and I'm an empath. So the fact that they can't lie to me and they can't hide things from me, is a big deal too. Some women are so comfortable in taking on that masculine role to where when they see me coming, when I first started dating, when I first moved out here, I had a woman she pretty much
Mm.
tried to play me. I'm gonna make it short. She was like, she told me that she was celibate first. The problem is with women and people around me, period. Exactly. I see the face. She told me she was celibate first.
She said, I don't want to hear that.
That was the first. That was the first thing. So I was like, okay, I was cool with it. And the fact that I was cool with it, that kind of was like, hold up, what you mean you cool with it? Because she was used to a certain type of guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't. I was not her norm. So what happened was she started to become affectionate. She wasn't used to being affectionate. She was like, okay, I don't like this feeling. So her being outside of what she was used to made her uncomfortable, which made her run. I feel that a lot of times I make women uncomfortable because I bring stuff out of them that they're not used to having come out of them. And it makes them have to face that which is deep down inside of them. I don't do it I guess it just happens naturally. So she told me she was celibate. She starts talking. She starts revealing secrets. She started talking about how her and her girl was having some type of summer, some hot girl summer. So she started, I was like, hold on, how can you be celibate and you having a hot girl summer? Basically, what happened is truth starts coming out, and she starts to tell me about stuff that she had going on. She was like, you know what, you are, you're not what I expected. She was like, she thought she was going to come in, she was going to play me like she did all the other guys, where she get a free meal, she get some money type of deal, and that was it. She was just going to run, but she started to fall for me, and that's what she didn't want. She was like, I would rather go back to my friend with benefits than to be with you because I know I will fall for you.
Oh, wow.
For the street.
Running
So
from
that's
the
the stuff I deal
door.
with.
That's good to know.
But she opened up. What happened was she started playing the games, and once I realized she was playing the game, I was like, okay, I'm going to use this opportunity to open up fully because I've been trying to tap into this being able to, what do you call it? I forget the name, when you can feel people's emotions. So I'm a pleaser. I'm the type of guy that I would rather give my time than money. So I would rather do things like take her out to eat, do romantic gestures, give a massage, give a bath, get a foot massage.
What's your
You
sign?
name it, I try to do as a police officer. I'm a Cancer.
I knew it. I was like, he got
I know you was gonna say that.
lover. Such
I'm a Cancer, but I'm a lover, but yeah, I got the aggressive side too. Like it ain't beneath me to choke a woman when it's needed, and
Come on,
we do
Ike.
not we do not condone violence,
Let's go.
that
please, sir.
That
that's ille-
Oh
that's
that's
my
not
illegal.
what
God. I'll let her
that's not
know.
In a
Hey man,
passion
Chris
Oh,
Brown
in
taught
a
me not to
passion.
hit women.
you mean like the
Yeah.
seductive
Yeah.
choke?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Amen to that.
Like I said, that's where the balance come in at though. But yeah, to be honest, it's just us dealing with being able to deal with, and it's men and women, being able to deal with the hard things
Yes. Yeah.
inside of us. Because a lot of times we run from things because it's uncomfortable.
Sure do.
And that's why it's so easy for, I see a lot of women that I've talked to, a lot of men I've talked to give their bodies versus to give their mind.
Yeah.
Because let me get you attached by giving you a little bit of this and giving you a little bit of that,
Yeah.
but I don't really have to show you who I really am. A lot of women have ran from me because they were afraid that once I found out who they truly are, I wouldn't like them anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like they tried to, what was, they would try to jeopardize the relationship before the relationship is there because they're like, I can't get on, give me time to get on your level. So I'm not only, I'm here with you, I'm willing to do this with you. And actually my last relationship was like that. I felt that she had some narcissist traits, and I told her, but she didn't take it well. She was used to the type of people who coddled her,
Yeah.
who told her what she wanted
Better
to hear.
deny.
I was like, I'm right. So I'm not that person. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. If we're truly working on ourselves, then tell me what I need to work on. Like I said, my problem is I knew I was Captain Save Everybody. And like I was telling y'all early, my problem was doing for everybody else. And I'm sitting over here draining and drowning over here,
Yes.
and nobody's throwing me no lifesaver. When it came to her, was just getting her to recognize you can't help anybody that don't want to be helped.
Correct.
So that's what I'm learning too. I can't help everybody. I can't save everybody. Yes, I do want to get married. Before I met her, I'm trying to do this fast because I'm catching up. But I believe in marriage. I want marriage, but polygamy is on the table. Only reason why polygamy is on the table is because my problem with relationships is because of the way I look and what I do. Most women think I have multiple women.
Oh,
So I'm like, okay, if you think I have multiple women, why
flip
not
that
have
one.
multiple women? Yeah, I'm like, if that, because that's my thing is I run into a lot of insecurities when it comes to women with what I do. Me being a musician, me being a caring person. So okay, and it becomes a possessive thing when they find out the type of man that you are, guys, and you are a good man. It become that possessive thing to where they try to keep you to
Yep.
themselves, and they don't want you to have nobody outside of them. They want you to come to them with all your ins and outs. No, I'm like, you might not be that person that I can talk to, and that's fine. I might not be the person that you can talk to about some things, but as long as we're growing together, and I think that's what I ran into. But yeah, polygamy is on the table. I would love to have actually the last relationship I was in, I was looking for a committed relationship, but it because of things that were happening, and I still want that. But my thing is, even when it comes to polygamy, it has to have a foundation.
Yes.
If and my thing was okay, if I'm gonna have multiple women, everybody got to have their role.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, okay, I need a doctor, I need a teacher, I need somebody who can be that nurturer for the children. It's got to be a village. Like it has to
Yeah.
make sense. Why do that? If dealing with one woman is a headache, why would I want, you know?
Six
Patient,
others.
and you gotta have a lot of
Right.
information in that.
Yeah.
And I have my sis know, man. I used to work with people with special needs, everything from schizophrenia to bipolar. I used to deal with probably like 6 different people in one person at one time, like type of deal. It's
Dang.
crazy. So the patience is there. It's just like I said, it's just putting in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every day is a day of growth for me. I'm learning every day. The other gentleman said, just focusing on me because I'm the cornerstone. I can't change nobody else, but I can change
There
myself.
you go.
And that's my focus. But yeah, I believe in marriage. I also believe in polygamy. If it works,
I
whichever work.
see.
I'm just open right now, to
Ray
be
is
honest.
itching.
Like,
Ray is
what's
itching.
gonna work?
Right,
No. Yeah.
Ray
So
over here because he
not.
asked Tyrone. He
Yeah.
asked Tyrone about
I
polygamy,
don't
and
know.
Yeah,
Tyrone
Ray been trying to get
disagreed.
this
But
topic
Oh,
in
yeah,
right.
before, so
Oh,
Not
maybe
I'm
he's
talking
trying
sorry.
to get on
about
this.
polygamy. Let's bring.
Oh, okay.
right.
I'm
Yes.
okay. So, do you want me to go back and
Go
answer
ahead.
that,
Go
Ray?
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm like, I prefer monogamy, but if the person is
He be
willing,
at these
then
parties. Are you
I'm
polygamous? You
I'm
polygamous?
open to
The
it as
way you
well.
be at these parties, bro.
Right.
Correct. Right.
Who want it?
We
Who want
see
it?
you,
Who want it?
Tyrone.
I don't ask people that question.
My
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be honest, I'm hesitant to go into that way because I think I'm
Mm.
doing it because just to be spiteful in it. I can feel it in myself, like so I know myself. I think I'm doing it because I know I want that committed relationship. I am open to multiple, but I think it's because if I was being truly honest and transparent with myself, it's because every woman I get with, it's always the same thing. They think I have multiple
Yeah, you
women,
feel like it'll be
or
easier for you to be in a
Just go ahead and
relationship.
do it.
right.
Yeah.
Just to already have multiple women and
Yeah.
just to be open. Okay, this woman is. I'm like, if that's going to be the main thing, just find women that are open to that. I
Yeah.
think that would be easier for me. Not that I want to go that route, but that seems to be the thing that pops up all the time.
Oh, polygamy? No, absolutely not.
All right.
No,
Austin.
Unfortunately.
no. Because any real
Polygamy.
intimate relationship is hard enough, the way I see it. I don't want
Right.
to involve more people in that chaos. It's hard enough with one person.
Right.
Yeah, that's the way I see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Ray.
polygamy. I'm gonna say no on that. I'm gonna say no on that. And even though I could probably
Oh,
fulfill
big
multiple women
dog.
in one relationship, but
That's the big
we just gonna
dog.
be honest here. But I just wanna give my attention and my focus to one. Because I feel like
Yeah.
that'd be the best way to go about it. And me just focusing all my love and what I have to give
Right.
to her, because she gonna enjoy it.
Mm.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a two-parter for y'all then. It's a two-parter. So, one, do you all feel like men, and I don't know your level of marine experience, Ray, obviously you were there, so it's a lot, but in general, do you guys feel like men in some ways have a type of PTSD that you all suffer from? And if so, whether you do or don't, if so, have you all ever been to therapy or considered therapy, like actively or in the past?
Man. That is
I
a
can go.
vulnerable question. I love that this is on
Okay.
the table though.
I
It is.
I think everybody deals with some form of depression or anxiety, or I mean, maybe even PTSD as well. So for me personally, I've experienced depression, and because when you're in the Marines, you get a lot of shit thrown at you, and you just gotta take it, and
Yeah.
you gotta figure a way to maneuver it and push it out in another form that's not gonna disrupt or be destructive. So I went to therapy. I went to it's called
Mm,
cognitive behavior training, CBT, and really focusing on what is triggering your depression and finding ways to cope with it
Right.
and to make it better, and not looking to other vices to comfort you, because I was drinking. Marines drink anyway, but it was coming to a point where it
mm,
was very counterproductive drinking, and I'll be in my room alone just drinking and taking shots and shit. And so I understood this is a problem I need to address, and I did address it. And for that, I am able to see other people like, okay, this is where you're at, and maybe you need to seek the training, you need to seek
Right.
the help, because I've done it before, and I'm always open to listening and understanding where you're coming from, because we all have our
mm.
own cross to
Love that
bear, as
quote.
they say. But yeah, I've definitely been to
Yeah.
therapy. I would say if you
Definitely.
need it, everybody really can benefit from therapy. You just got to find the right therapist. So,
Yeah.
Right.
I have
The part.
therapy.
That
I'm
part.
better because I went to therapy, and it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. And I actually have the Serenity Prayer on my neck right here that I walk around with
Love that.
all the time to carry with me, so I understand, like, all right, everybody got their own problems, and let me not try to bring more to the
Mm,
table,
Mm.
but reduce it.
Okay.
I love
Mhm.
that.
It's
All right.
beautiful.
All right. Yeah.
Any-
So my answer would be yes. I agree with him. To be honest, to share my story.
Yes, sir.
Well, I got a question for you, Ray. Do you feel that because you have been through what you've been through, do you use
Absolutely.
that to help
Um,
other people?
my my experiences
Yeah.
help
Okay.
me with other people who may be going through it currently. It's always going to be a battle, because
Right.
every day is something different and a different
Hmm.
challenge to you. But you just got to look at, okay, what can I gain from this? What can I gain from this experience?
Mhm.
Right.
Every day won't be sunshine. I just actually had a mental health day like a few days ago. I didn't do shit, and it helped
Hmm.
me to get past the feelings I was experiencing. So the next day, I can
Right.
feel better. I can be better, and do all the things I set out to do on that in that
Hmm.
week and that day. But it's yeah, I do use my
mm.
experience to assist others if possible.
All right. I asked that question because that's where I am right now, especially with my music and whatnot. My last relationship, my last committed relationship before this last one, I was in a relationship for around 12 years. And I had a nervous, I was working, being a direct care professional, working with people with special needs, dealing with her special needs at the time also. So it was like I was going home to no peace
Yeah,
after coming from a work with no
Yeah.
yeah,
peace. And eventually it took that toll on me. And when it did, I came to her and I was like, yo, I can't deal with your issues and deal with my issues at the same time. I just can't do it at like I used to. And she couldn't reciprocate what I needed at the time. And her answer was pretty much, you dealt with. I was like, I need a break. I can't do this because I can't be there for you. I can't be there for anybody else. Or because she had a daughter, we had a daughter. We have a daughter. Would be, I guess, considered my stepdaughter, but I don't like to say
Wow.
step.
Yeah.
I raised her since she was 5.
Yeah.
She's in
Mm,
college right now, about to graduate. She graduated this year, so that's crazy.
Congratulations.
Um,
Shout out to her.
yes, me going into that with her, I knew I had to make an executive decision and separate from that situation because she didn't see that she had a problem. She didn't feel like she needed to work on that problem. And those problems that she was dealing with would leave me to have to deal with them, and that would have left too much pressure on me.
Yeah.
Long story short, in a car, I had pushed a lot of friends away to commit to this relationship, and it felt like I was the only person in the relationship committing to it. Anything she would ask for, I would try to do to make that relationship work. But when it came down to it, when I looked up, I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. I didn't have that support. Well, I didn't think I had that support that I used to have with my friends, because I pushed a lot of friends away because she was insecure about me knowing this person or spending time with that person, men and women. It doesn't matter. Even my uncle. It was just weird. It became to the point
Controlling.
where it became possessive. She didn't want anyone to have my time. I was in the car one day and I had a mini stroke. She kept blowing up my phone.
Wow.
I called my friends. My friend was like, "We've been waiting on you. Like, we know how you are when you're in a relationship. We know how dedicated you are. We were like, we were just waiting on you." So when I called them, it was like, "Come to game night." So I went to game night. Before I got out the car, she was blowing up my phone. I had like a little mini stroke just from the stress of her calling my phone 15 times, texting me like, and I was like, right then and there, God spoke to me. It was like, either you're going to have to learn how to live without her or you're going to die because of her. And I was like, and that's when I had to go to, and I had to end that relationship. But I can't be there for you, nor can I be there for our daughter if I'm dead, if I'm in a coma. So
Yep.
that health thing really does hit. And it's hard sometimes for us to speak about it as men because we're taught to be hard, don't cry. That's instilled in us. But me growing up, I'm learning how to deal with it a little bit better. I did go to therapy. That's probably one of the best things I did, was take control of it and step out and be like, okay, I'm not going to try to do this by myself, because that's what we do a
No,
lot of times.
damn
We
it,
try to
Alabama,
be
get it
macho and
together.
handle it all by ourselves.
About to use
I
it.
just now, within the past 2 years, started talking to family
I
members.
know,
I used to always.
right?
Oh, stay with us.
Long story short, mental health is, yeah, key. I've been to depression. I mean, like you said, sometimes you have those days where you just have to take that day and just take a day off.
You do.
Yeah.
Just like you have one of those days where you just need that time to regroup and refocus. And I had one of those days recently too. It was like probably 3 days ago. I just had to stop because I was doing so much running behind my family and stuff. And I was like, just stay in the bed. Just,
Yeah,
my thing is, I watch like anime or something that keeps my mind busy. And I just took that day. Sometimes you got to take a day for yourself,
you do.
Yeah.
and just recoup. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. So the
Austin, Tyrell's
question
on mute, so either one
was,
of you guys
do
can
we
answer.
think
Plead the fifth.
we have any PTSD? And if so, what was the second part of the question?
Yeah, so you feel like
Hmm.
you have like maybe a form of PTSD just from being black in America, and then outside of that, have you
Oh,
ever
okay. Yeah, yeah.
considered therapy?
Gorgeous.
And like, do you actively go to therapy, or have you ever gone to
I don't
therapy?
know if this is uniquely male because I've heard other women express the same kind of trauma, but I come from a place where growing up, I didn't really receive a whole bunch of acknowledgments nor like attention. Not just specifically from like girls, although that's definitely a part of it, but just I was definitely a loner. I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I didn't feel like I belonged. Like that sense of just not belonging, I definitely had that. And so it's been interesting growing up and developing, maturing, right? Getting into lifting weights, learning how to dress, becoming more socially competent. It's funny how as things change, it's easy to realize that, or it's easy to miss that you've also changed. And so that kid who wasn't understood or didn't have a
Right.
sense of belonging, who didn't have friends, it can be hard to let go of that identity even after you've got friends, even after you've developed, even after you've become attractive, right? It's easy to look at yourself as the person who wasn't enough and the person who is
Right.
still unworthy of a lot of the things that he now has that he always wanted. Like this hit me really hard. This was a recent realization. I had it ironically while I was stripping on tour, which
Right.
is not the place you expect to have grand discoveries, self discoveries, and realizations. But I remember we had hit a couple performances. I had gotten more compliments and acknowledgement from women than I'd ever had in my entire life. Like that kind of attention is almost
Right. I'm on the
overwhelming. And I
podcast
remember
right
laying
now.
in that dark hotel room and still
I'll
thinking,
be back.
why do I still feel like I'm not good enough? Like, why do I still feel like that kid who just has something to prove? I was still wanting. And that was when I realized, okay, it's not out there. Like, the answer isn't out there. There's something on me, there's something in me that needs to be resolved. With that said, that was part of the realization of I need to get into therapy. That's definitely going to be beneficial for someone like me. I have a mentor who's a psychologist, and while we've had intimate conversations, I do think it's different from like having formal therapy where that is what you're there to do rather than we're also dancing and scrolling on Instagram and etc. Yeah, I definitely think I've got a bit of PTSD, feelings of unworthiness and an inability to acknowledge myself like objectively see myself for where I actually am without being biased by who I used to be. And I think therapy could definitely help me resolve that. But I don't feel like that's exactly like super unique. There are plenty of people who are in positions where
I
they
agree.
should be more confident than they actually
I'm
are,
in
and a
that
lot of
same
it
boat.
stems from where they came
I
from, who
I
they
can
used
relate.
to be. It's hard to let go of that old identity.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that resonates.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh yeah, like a
I'm really glad to
motherfucker.
hear you guys are feeling
Okay,
that.
Tyrone.
like
Especially as a guy. I don't know if I'm
Right.
seeing a
All of
term. You
you.
guys can tell me if I'm
Yeah.
missing the
Okay.
mark on this though, but it seems like the default for us, generally speaking, is that of
Right.
being unworthy. Like the
Say
default
no.
when you're crushing on a woman is you need to give her reasons to say yes because the default is she is going to say no. And so it's like we resonate with not being enough more so
Right.
than being enough. And the minority of dudes who do feel like they're enough are narcissists. So
Right.
we don't even have to go into that.
Yeah.
But a lot of but
They
so
feel like
yeah.
they just the best of the best of the. Wow.
That's deep
It's
because,
new.
yeah, that's literally, like I said, as a female, because we don't always have these conversations with you as men, or maybe you
Definitely.
don't feel safe to. So, really, truly, thank you guys. We're grateful that as your friends, you are able to have this conversation with us, and that hopefully you feel safe enough. We provide a platform where you feel safe. But that's literally mind blowing to me because,
Yeah.
man, the mask, that means the
Mhm.
mask that y'all
It's
walking
like
around with every single day is wow.
Yeah.
Wow, y'all have painted that real
It's
well.
deeper than we thought.
Yeah, that's mind blowing.
Yeah. And so Tyrone,
Yeah,
oh, on my end, do I have PTSD from relationship? Far more than a PTSD, but I think I said prior to that. No, I have
okay.
not been in therapy, but the emphasis that is currently being placed on therapy makes me feel like yeah, it will definitely help with the with because there are some things that I do need to work out. Pretty much like Austin was saying, like
I got
he's like
what's funny is that I got
No,
that
a
reference.
stop.
That's why
Charizard.
I'm
I'm like
laughing.
a
That
Tyrone.
that
yeah. Hey,
that took me back to
he
like my
He
childhood.
a what?
uh,
It's funny.
That it took me into a you gotta catch 'em all type of mind.
Okay. I'm like,
yeah.
what? I didn't hear him. Oh,
That is good. That's a good
I love
analogy.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's a great
Right.
analogy though. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's pretty good to
I'll
be
take it, bro.
Charizard,
That's
Austin. That's
true,
pretty
Ray. I'll
fucking
take it.
good.
But
I
it's funny.
yeah.
but
I love that. All right, y'all. So we've held you a long time. So I'm gonna try to wrap this up with
Yes.
one final question. And I don't know which one I want because I had some really good ones, but y'all really hit us. And you answered a lot of them without us asking.
You did.
I guess I wanna say no, I was
Oh,
gonna
is it
say
important?
this. No.
Oh,
The main cause and then how can
you feel okay?
yeah.
That's fine.
So I guess we'll say, what do you feel is the main cause to Black men's mental health? And if that's not a good way to put that, yes, go ahead, ask a question because I felt it too.
um,
Yes.
you guys say what's the main cause of black men
There is
mental
no
health? That's just like
there is no main thing.
Let's put it
Like
this
there's
way.
multiple
What do you
things
think
because
affects
everybody's
your
different
mental
also.
health
You
the
have to
most
realize
as
that
a Black
what
man?
affects me might not
How?
affect him. So
I mean, oh,
on different
okay.
levels
Okay,
and
now.
then
So then
upbringing,
if that is the case,
how we were up how we
no,
was
that's
brought up.
true.
Like anything can change that narrative to where there's really
Facts.
no main
I think
thing. For me,
I
I
think that's
can't
the
speak for
question.
everybody else, but me just hearing all these kings on here speak, I can hear like just the difference in all of us, but yet and still the similarities in all of us. And it's okay to be different, and it's okay to be similar in certain ways. That way, we can come together, we can learn from each other's differences, and still connect on the familiarity
Right.
of the things that we are connected to. We've all been through. So, as far as one main thing, I can't say that there's one main thing because there's a lot of things that has hit me. Okay.
Facts.
Yeah.
No, and that's
Yeah, that's
that
fine.
that's completely fine. That answers the question. And so in you feeling that way, and obviously, gentlemen, if something comes to your mind, whether it's multiple things or whatever, go ahead. But in that, in obviously there being things that affect your mental health. How do you feel
That's a good one.
one women can support you? What is
That's
the best way for
that's a
women to
good one.
support you?
I like
And
it.
then what is the
I
best
like
way
that one.
for society to support you in that?
because
Right.
Yeah, let us hit you upside the head a little bit.
Boom,
No.
boom,
Right.
pow.
I was trying to decide which one is the main. The, but I feel like
Okay.
There is so the question is two parts.
No, no, no. He's saying what is the main
Oh,
thing
okay,
that
because I
okay.
affects his
want to
mental
say
health? So yeah,
I
definitely
got it. I got
women
it.
yeah.
for me because you
Okay.
want to be preserved and
Okay.
seen in a certain light that's positive, and you keep trying to achieve that. Then the goalpost gets moved a little bit more. The goal line gets moved a little bit more. So you're always chasing that. But women is one. I think societal expectations is a big
Okay.
motivator on mental health because you always see yourself like, I see them doing it. Why can't I? Or why is this happening to me? And you find excuses. And instead of just taking accountability for your actions
Yeah.
and finding a way to get out of the situation you were in or the situation you were born into. Um, and so I would say societal expectations. And what was the second part of the question?
So how can women best
Yeah.
support you, and how can
Well,
society best support you?
it really goes back to really, I got to support myself. And that's where it all comes
Okay,
from.
that's good.
You will want a woman to support you. You will want society to support you, but this world
Yep.
is cruel. The world is very cruel at some points, and
Facts.
you got to rely on your confidence within to maneuver through those waters of turbulence. So it's really,
Right.
you will like a woman to be understanding. You will like society to give you a handout. That would be nice, but it's not realistic. But if I just answering the question, I
Ain't,
would like a woman
ain't,
to just
ain't gonna happen, bro. Ain't
just
gonna.
listen to whatever the fuck I tell her to do.
He's
uh,
so goofy,
I like
bro.
the way you think, but I don't think that's gonna happen, my brother.
So to support your mental health,
Oh man.
everything I say about them me.
All
exactly.
Yeah.
Not
That's
I
a
would
good one.
realistic.
say for women
I like that.
being understanding, and for society to be a little bit more forgiving. That's what I would say.
You was about to say something, Tyrone?
Oh, that was I like. Yeah. Didn't I just
Yeah,
message you the other day and tell you I need the book of
yeah.
bars? What is happening right
Yeah, so I was just gonna go ahead and answer my question, but it's just like he pretty much knocked out the part where he answered like what causes men to have the mental health condition that we do have is the so how we feel social acceptance on what it means to be a man, the pride that it takes to be a man, things that we can or cannot do, lines that we can and cannot cross. All these things go into almost every action that we take or every step that we take. I want to differ a little bit in the other two answers though. The other two answers were how can women? So be receptive to the role that a man allows you to have when it comes to mental health.
Allows you to have.
Just if that makes no,
I'm with you,
now?
Ty.
Right.
Okay.
no, because it's really different, and everyone requires different things and different needs. And he might not can go to you for something, or he might want to give everything to you, but you have to come together to figure out, hey, this is
Right.
what I'm willing to give you. Can you take this? If not, you gotta be able to work something out. If that makes sense. So be receptive and not to take advantage or abuse. And that's why I say not just relationship wise. I'm talking about more like more sometimes in the friend position. Sometimes it's that cousin position. Because we all have that female cousin that be looking out for us sometimes. But it just depends on the being like I said, being receptive to
Mm,
the role that he allows you to be or take part in.
mm,
And allow him to have some type of control.
Okay.
Okay.
Society wise, I feel like we already have counselors, so that's some way to introduce therapy into like school systems, like maybe like high school or something like that, because they already got counselors, and maybe a student might get seen twice, every, 2 times a month or something like that. But then that also goes into the school system and how they need more money, how teachers should be paid more, how counselors should be paid more, how there should be more of those in the profession. But maybe if you bring up kids thinking or knowing a little bit more about this introspective while they're young, they might grow and develop. But I'm not talking about super, super young. I'm talking about maybe, that's why I say high school, because at least you have some
Right.
sort of
Got you.
semblance. And then, like I said, I don't know how it was at
Right.
your high school. My high school, ninth grade,
Yeah.
his teacher was like,
That's some
look to your
military stuff
left,
right
look to
there.
That's rough.
one of those person might not be
Man.
there when you graduate.
Yeah, it
Wow.
is.
So,
Yeah.
so maybe at higher level, it might be more like more easier to manage the resources, but just
Yeah,
having that
Right.
like a free
That's
version of
good.
therapy available to students nationwide, especially talking about social
Mm.
time like during college
Right.
and the time when
yeah,
Yes.
stuff on
That's
that
good.
line. I said before
Oh
college,
yeah.
mainly because you don't want
That's
this
a
to be
whole nother
exclusive to
conversation. Woo.
college kids.
That's a deep one.
Because I feel like there's a
Mm.
huge emphasis on
That's a
college
good one.
when everyone is not meant for college. And then,
yes,
Mm.
because this, I,
Man.
Yeah, I'm about to say, whoa, that was a whole nother
I,
episode.
I have I have a cousin,
See?
fam.
Hey,
That dude could
there you
not do
go.
nothing in school.
You gotta find out what works for you.
I could not do nothing. So he went to the military.
See?
oh,
He
he
went to
went
the
to
military.
military.
Hey.
And
Yep.
sometimes and that
Right.
structure allows you to even go back into school. So it's just like it's for
Yeah,
Right.
you right now, and it's just like, hey, you gotta do this now. I'm like, I want to be available before then, before they make the huge decision that they're gonna have to make. At least have some
Right.
sort of
That's the
tools
problem
that
with
they can
schools. They're
use
mm.
to
taking all the
kind of
tools out. It's
That'd be
like
when
they
definitely
it's
won't be
not
free.
beneficial
So
for them to have you
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
totally
good. I like that
having
answer.
the
independent,
tools
totally
early.
whole
I
Yeah,
love
mentally.
that.
I like
There
that.
is it's a system. The
Okay.
system is set up for you to be broken, to be
Yes,
honest. And that's the sad part about it. Just look at what's going on in Texas, what's going on in Florida.
Whole.
The
yeah,
whole setup
Mm.
of the school system,
Yeah.
period, is to condition your mind to go straight into a workforce, to go straight into to college, so you can be more in debt. Most people don't talk about they want you to want money, but they don't want you. They don't want to teach you about money. That's what they don't teach you in school. They don't teach you
yes,
Yes.
about that money. But that's why I'm loving about this generation now. A
Wow.
lot of kids now are
Right.
taking it upon
oh
themselves to learn,
yeah,
and with TikTok, with
Mommy,
Ivy.
YouTube,
I
it's like
got you.
you could take it all into your hands. You
What
just
I do
need
for a
to.
living.
My problem is, like I said, is just overcoming myself. To me, I wouldn't look for anybody else to do it. My biggest problem is I tell people
Yeah.
this that I've mentored and I've talked to, the hardest person in life to overcome is we ourselves. If you can overcome yourself and find that self confidence within yourself, or find out how to deal with your own imperfections, because nobody's perfect. We're all
yeah,
perfectly imperfect. Where nobody's the same, but they want us to be in this cookie cutter box so they can put us in a box to where no, it's okay to be different and use your difference
hmm,
to succeed in the world. Your difference could be your
Yeah.
treasure, could be your calling. It can be so much to you, but
Mm.
because we fight
Right.
against our difference, that's the reason why we're so
Mhm.
conflicted within ourselves too, because we're fighting against what society wants us to be versus what we know that we can be. Yeah, I don't look for a woman to do it for me. Society definitely ain't gonna do
yeah. It's
Mm.
it. Society, they benefit more
Yeah.
for you not to be. But yeah, it would be nice to have a woman to actually listen to you,
Correct.
to actually hear you
You're not
out,
wrong.
to not judge you. Yeah, but that all those things would be nice. There's a list. I would have to go through it in my head. But to be heard, to be listened to, those that's the core of it.
Okay.
Austin.
Heard. Okay.
Mm. Yeah. I think a big part of what
Okay.
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 like black men's mental
Awesome.
health is partly the culture. And specifically, I feel like the black community is bifurcated in that there's half of us who believe that
Hmm.
what it means to be black is like BET and hip hop and the ghetto. And then there's another half that thinks that black excellence transcends
Right.
just that. And there's our intellectuals. And it's almost like a firefight where you've got
Right.
one half saying, if you don't consume this kind of content, then you're voted off the island. It's like, you're not black. And
Yeah.
like a lot of our youngest and brightest talents are being disenfranchised at a young age Whereas when you're older, you can
Right.
dismiss it as
You're not
ignorance and
practicing.
say, "Oh, okay, like they're just lost. Like they don't know what they're talking about." When you're younger, it's like you don't really have the emotional tools to handle that situation in a mature way. So I think a big part of that mental health crisis is like an identity crisis also, where a lot of people are like, "What exactly does it mean to be black? Does it mean that I learn how to twerk and drink Hennessy and shoot the people on the block, or does it mean that you lean more towards Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and identifying with your brilliance and your
Right.
intellect and Oh, there we go. There we go. Identifying with the less stereotypical aspects
And went to
of
an
black culture
HBCU.
and what it means to be
Right.
black. So I think that's a big part of our mental health, like what impacts it. What society can do
Tell
to
the
support
truth.
it, I think, is putting more of a highlight on the other side of black culture. Future and DaBaby and all these artists and these entertainers, they get enough limelight. And aside from just giving more attention to our intellectuals, more attention to black brilliance, I think also creating
Yeah.
more avenues for that to thrive and succeed financially would be really beneficial. You have all these ways that music artists, actors, entertainers, basketball players, athletes, all of these different avenues for entertainment to thrive and make money. But there, you would be hard pressed to list off more ways that a
Right.
black man, a black woman for that matter, could realize their talents to financial benefit beyond just being entertaining, beyond being a dancer, beyond being an athlete. So I think society could support us by creating more avenues for
Yes.
us to thrive intellectually and philosophically too. And for women, I think just straightforward, just the best way to support us would just be to give more attention to that. Is that black nerd in class rather than
Right.
downing him or even not even just the man, but also the women, just empowering them to be who they are and to realize their potential. Like rather than making fun of them, saying, "Hey, we need more of that. Keep that up." But also too, and not to speak out of turn because I'm not sure what exactly influences what motivates a woman to pick a man or what influences like that kind of decision making. Like maybe on the female side there are things corrupting that choice from being made too, but yeah, like women choosing with their bodies, like who are they going to give themselves to and who are they going to give the honor of bearing children to rather than choosing the person who's like
Right.
ghetto and shoots people and who's attractive in the most like stereotypical way. Like having a more healthy relationship with that kind of thing. And again, I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm not a woman. I
Programming,
don't
man.
know. Like there could be valid reasons why they chose to have kids with the men that they chose, but I'm just saying it would be more beneficial to the culture and to everyone's mental wellness too if what
Hmm.
was being given attention and what was being chosen matched with what we want more of. Because right now it seems to be inversed where it's like the men who are having all of the children and
Right.
the men who are getting all of the attention are not the men that we
Mm-hmm.
want to see hanging around. They're not the men
Right.
that we want
Yeah.
having influence over our children. And so I think having that
Right.
match would
That
be
was
really
good.
good.
I like
So
that. I like
those are
that.
just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, but that goes back into
Correct.
what you were saying before
Yep.
when you was talking about the
Damn. Wow.
system and stuff. How
Yeah. Thanks,
the
you guys.
music they it's
That
like
was,
they
yeah, I was
give
like,
they
woo!
they want to
Drop
promote
the mic.
Yes.
the
Yes.
thug
Yes.
and the people who call women out their names. That's what they want us to be seen as. So that's what they promote, the entertainment side of it. The crazy thing is, it's not even crazy, is
Mm-hmm.
that and what I've found out now that I've opened up
Yeah.
Pandora's box is that every infrastructure that has ever been built has been built by a person of color. They just don't want us to know. So my thing was with the society would be if I were to tell them one thing, it would be tell the truth. Just tell the
Mm-hmm.
truth. Knowing that everybody that came to America wasn't brought over
Oh.
on slave ships. We were here before the slave ships even came.
Yeah.
It's a simple
Yeah.
one thing that was really getting on my nerves the other day. And I was talking to my sister about it. Movies. It's like we don't own anything. Everything and how the
Yep.
black dollar doesn't stay in our communities. That's why I like Atlanta so much. How the progression is going, but it's like as soon as we get something, they come in and they try to find some
Yeah.
way to knock us off a pedestal. There was a movie that just came out called The Chevalier. It was about literally a black superhero. It was about a guy
Mm.
that was in London. They call him the Black Mozart,
Yeah.
Right.
which should is yeah. So the crazy thing about that is that he came before Mozart. So actually, Mozart should have been called the
I
White
was gonna say,
Chevalier
I heard
because
about that movie.
Mozart hated him because he was so good.
Wow.
He was so
Mm-hmm.
proficient. He was an amazing musician. He was a great marksman, and he was a great
Correct.
swordsman. He was pretty much a black superhero. But they don't tell us this thing. To me, if more
Yes.
kids knew about our our history and how we
Wow.
do excel, like most of the things that were invented by people of color, most most people don't realize Europe, all the foundations of Europe, the foundation of America, the foundation of Greece, were built by people
Yeah.
from Africa. We came over here, we taught them, and then once they learned what they could learn, they killed us off and then they pushed us out. Even America, most people don't realize Congress and everybody and everything that was set up for America was set up by people of color. If you look on some of the dollar bills, the bills they show black
Yeah.
people in Congress, but they don't teach us that. There were black presidents before George Washington. And that's the stuff that they don't teach us. And I feel that if we knew where we came from, if we knew how powerful we were,
Mm-hmm.
then the movement would be totally different. But they'll tell you to your face, like, no, we have to keep you in that position so we can profit from
Mm,
you. There was a guy on the radio the other day. It was like, Africa will always be in poverty. We cannot allow Africa to become independent because, or allow them to rise up because then it will keep them from benefiting from them. So each country, China, Russia, Spain, all these people keep put money into keeping Africa in a poverty state because they make so much money off. Africa is the richest continent in on this world. It's a rich because all of them. What was that? No, no, but that's what I'm saying. If you look at it, even I say even in schools, if you look at how they taught us, like
But it's
they
not
show as America, how they show America being bigger than what it was. You can take America
no.
and fit it inside Africa like 4 times. Yes, like they don't show us that perspective. So it's like
Damn.
it's something somebody went to in the beginning. I think it was
Yes.
Tyrone went to the scripture. It's a
Yep.
scripture that talks about how we wrestle
Surely
not
can.
against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Principalities is the mind. What they do is they attack our mind because they know we're physically strong, so they have to attack our mind, and that's what they've been doing generation after generation. So the best thing we can do as people is to renew our mind. Food, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Education,
Yep. Music, food,
especially this
book.
white sugar.
You
This
know, it goes on and
that's
on, like you said
that's the
about being
number
physically
one.
strong.
The
You know,
number
there's
one
things in our DNA,
addiction
in our
in
blood
America
that,
is sugar. It's
like
the
you said,
cause of
sugar.
diabetes.
We should
It's the
not have
cause
sugar.
of being overweight, and they put it
Period.
in everything. It's more it's and it's more it's more addictive to cocaine.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
more
say it's
addictive
everywhere.
to
That's the
Heroin.
heroin. It's
thing.
more
Is
addictive
it's
to
no
all that
getting
stuff,
away
and they
from it.
know it.
It's
That's
no
the
getting
crazy
away
thing
from it.
about it. They don't care.
You in
And I
Alabama?
found that out when I
Honey,
went to the Philippines. Like a lot of stuff that they
bread.
allow here, they don't allow in Korea. They don't allow in other countries. It's
Yes.
banned. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
literally banned.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No, they don't. Some of the foods are banned
No,
that we
I was about
have
to
here.
say I
Mm.
watched a documentary about that.
right,
There's a whole list of
right,
things that are like banned,
right.
and even like just the UK,
And
right?
they're
They have a
constantly
list of
trying to do
like
more
three
with it. They're
thousand things
constantly,
Yeah,
if
that are
you look at
banned.
that's
Bill
But
Gates,
then if you
crazy.
look at
that's
America's
why
list,
Bill Gates
it's
is
like
buying up
17
all
things.
this
I said,
farmland because they're trying to
whoa,
build crops now to
whoa.
where they can
Yeah.
actually, instead of
They
asking
can
you if you
pay
want to take the
for that.
vaccine, they're going to start putting it in your food. So it's a whole. If you look at it, look into Bill Gates buying up farmland, and it talks about all that. He openly says that he goes to that when they test their vaccine, they go to Africa first, and that's where HIV happened. It's all about population control. So when it comes down to population control, they try to get rid of melanated people first before they try to get rid of any other type of person
That's
at
crazy.
all. I'm sorry, I went down a rabbit
Yeah.
hole. My bad, y'all.
Yeah.
My bad,
Hey,
y'all.
can't happen, no
My bad,
gang.
y'all. Yeah,
Can't
melanin is key,
happen
y'all.
though.
Come on,
We here
baby.
to stay. We ain't going nowhere. We is outside, baby. You
Yeah.
can't get rid of this melanin because it's here to
But as you see, we surround ourselves with very educated men. Like these men came on this show and God,
stay. Yeah.
dog.
Educated through school, educated through common knowledge. They are seeking knowledge. They're reading their
Scripture.
scripture, spiritual knowledge, all of the knowledge. And we're not trying to take the conversation in a different route, but as
Right.
Black people, it's important for us to speak up for what we see that's going on. Are we living a life where we are practicing all these things that Dr. CB told us that we should? Maybe not, but we are aware.
Yeah.
And so we want to make everybody else aware that just simple things that you do on your daily in your daily life, you can change your life. So we all want to live here forever. And this is our country. Like you said, we
Mhm.
built it. This is our world. So we got to start acting like it. And it really just starts with the foundation of how we treat
Never too
our
late.
black men and our black women. And if you haven't been, audience, if you haven't been treating your black men or your black women fairly, it's time to do. We gotta support each other because who else is gonna do it?
Right. And check on your friends. These conversations can be difficult, they can be hard. Everybody's not willing and in the same spaces to be vulnerable with each other. So you also have to respect that. But really, have conversation with your friends. Be intentional about knowing the people who are around you and their state of mind and where they're at, because one, you can learn from them, they can learn from you, and like you just don't know how much deeper your conversations, your relationships can go. This episode is brought to you by
Everyday People as Sunglasses brand. This is a unisex brand for men and women. Most of the styles are going to be for, you know, your everyday wear, for your looks, whether you in the club, whether you going to, you know, a high classy event, or, you know, you just want to be a little shady. Ooh. We got shades for everybody. We also have affiliates links. Once you shop and your friends shop, you can get a piece of the pie.
You can find any of our handsome gentlemen that we love so dearly across probably all of your
All right, so I'm at
well,
Christian
some of your
Mingle.
social
No,
media
I'm just playing.
platforms.
You can.
You guys can drop
You
your
can
handles. I will start with Austin.
no, I'm on Instagram at AustinJRB.
He said
That's my
Christian
handle, just
Mingle.
AustinJRB, and everything else is linked through Instagram.
Hello. My
Perfect.
Instagram
Ray.
handle is Sergeant, which is
To
SGT,
be, I don't be
the number
remembering
two,
mine, but I think it
the
is
THA
Terrell
underscore Ray.
underscore Terrell Leone underscore music.
Perfect.
Something like that.
Terrell.
Okay, good.
Perfect. And Tyrone. Either way, whether they're right or wrong, we're gonna have them all in the description box for you. So don't trip. We'll have them all correct. But Tyrone, where can they
They can
find you
find me
at?
on Instagram at Tyrone MCD TYRONE MCD.
Perfect. All right, gentlemen, we really appreciate you all coming on here and just blowing the audience up. My God, the knowledge and the wealth that you guys present. Thank you for being our friends too and doing this, because truly we value you as friends first. And obviously, we just wanted to let you be an asset to our community as well. So
Yes.
thank you so much. I'll probably be hitting you guys up. We may need to do some Instagram lives with you and whatnot, because I'm sure questions will come.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you. Audience, you know where to find us at. You can find Kay at
I am Sade Brand. That's for my personal page
All
and
right.
my business page, Everyday People World. And you can also shop at everydaypeopleworld.com to get all of your summer shade needs.
Yes, Lord.
And you can find Miss Amanda at
You find me at smile underscore the number 4 underscore Amanda, or you can find the brand Love Vibes at LOV.vibes. And you can find both of us on TikTok, Instagram, doing something. We are at We Got Ish to Say Pod. If you
All
are on
right,
Twitter,
later.
we are tweeting you from We Got Ish to
Peace.
Say Pod 2, the number 2, not
Thanks, everybody.
TO. And other than that, have
All right,
a
y'all.
great day, y'all. Till next time.